Hey everybody, welcome back to another Agents of Mayhem stream. Today is the last of our agent streams. Somehow, I feel like I've been doing these since I started working here.
We've done a lot of them.
Yeah,
for sure.
So yeah, today we are taking a look at the last agent we have yet to play and talk about his production, all that, which is Oni. And before we jump into that, I guess we'll do a little introduction. Hi, I'm Josh Stinson, the video editor and stream host here at Volition. On the couch we have...
I'm Jordan Aljouni, combat designer, agent designer.
Jenny Campbell, one of the writers.
Pedro Yapor, character artist.
And then over Skype we have...
That kid, Oni.
Hey. So yeah, Oni is... So, like, even when we haven't, like, talked about an agent, they've usually popped up a bunch, you know, just in, like, the E3 demos and stuff. Oni's one of the ones, along with, like, Jewel, who hasn't gotten too much explanation of how they actually... We haven't really seen them, you know, in action too much yet. So this'll be an interesting one, because Oni also has some additional, like, tricks up his sleeve that a lot of the other agents do not.
Sorry, that was just... Sorry.
And yeah, with that, let's just jump straight up into some concept art production stuff. So this is
Wow.
very early concept art for Oni, who doesn't look like Oni at all quite yet.
Not quite Oni.
But I was a chick? Since when was I a chick?
That was a long time
That was
ago.
a long time ago.
Yeah. So how long were you involved with writing Oni? Were you there with him from the beginning, or?
I was the first writer for Oni, but he already had a concept by the time that I was brought on. So, like, female Oni is before my time.
Oh, man. Yeah, because it's like, female Oni is like, this is like the one bit with her in it. Like, the instant we go to the next one, it's, you know, already like, hey, we're getting a lot closer to what Oni is now.
Female Oni looks like the original concept for Lowlight from G.I. Joe back in the day.
Oh, you
That was a deep cut. That may be before your time.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I was around for some G.I. Joes. Some of them. I was 3, okay?
3? Oh, damn.
4, 5.
It's a lot.
I can remember things from back then, at least. But yeah, even at this point, we're already seeing what the final Oni was, getting really close already.
Then I became Ron Yuan, and then I became Ken Jeong. Wow.
Ken.
You got all thick in there.
Another a closer up one of the other concepts. So this.
Did you use the Rock's body and the Rock? Will the Rock ever learn how to actually like pin his clothes closed? Because he's always, every shot the Rock is ever in, he's always trying to close.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he just bursts at the seams.
Yeah, I just don't think he can.
So yeah, this is later on, because like in these concepts we could see like, yeah, he had like the sleeve blade and stuff. It wasn't a lot later on that he got the claw hand. Because
we wanted the hidden blade, but it was technically hard to do, and it doesn't show very well because it's only exposed for a moment, for like 4 frames of a melee animation.
Right.
And every time you put on your cufflinks, you stab yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you cut them off, and then you have to get new cufflinks.
Yeah. Cufflinks.
But yeah, so like the cloth that he eventually got, that wasn't even something that was in game at first. That came along a lot later, didn't it?
Yeah, with the absence of the hidden blade, we needed something to spice up his melee a little bit. And so we wanted to complement the Oni mask, which is where he gets his name from, right? Like,
right.
It's a staple of kind of his persona in combat. So we gave him a claw, a demon claw. that he scratches people with.
Awesome. Yeah. Pretty close to the final thing here. I believe with the next one, actually, there's Naked Oni. We got that too. Oni does not. Does Oni get naked in the game? Should we say?
I don't think so.
Wink.
As compensate.
As far as I know, Oni doesn't get naked in the game. I'm pretty sure. We don't have any cheat codes for that either.
That's reserved for Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's in his contract.
Yeah, I guess we only had we could only have one naked agent, and it had to be him. So.
And all that's all right.
Yeah, we can see another instance here of his like hidden blade thing. Did his hidden blade ever actually make it into the game?
So it was up in the air, so we never designed around it.
Okay.
And then when we got to a more production polished state with his assets, we ended up cutting it.
Okay.
But we kind of knew that was a possibility. So yeah, it never quite made it.
Okay. Right. Here's some really old things. Kind of working on the poses and all that for his model and all that. Yeah, these are actually pretty close. I mean, without the extra alterations to what he's got in game, but so when writing Oni, was the character that he is now, just writing wise, was that basically always the idea with him, or did he go through some other like personalities before landing on what he is now?
When I started, basically that's who he is now. Yeah. And he was really tricky to start because I would watch like a bunch of like Japanese films, and I even watched Korean films just to kind of see like kind of the archetype you were going for. And the heroes are always silent. Right. And I was being asked to write lines for him. And I kept going, well, he wouldn't say anything in this instance. Oh, but I gotta write something for him. So.
You could just deliver a script that just has a lot of ellipses everywhere.
Yeah.
Ellipses and like grunts and sighs. 400 different.
There's a lot of brooding. There's always a lot of brooding.
Yeah. But I think when I started writing him, I gave him. He didn't have a family yet, so I gave him a family. He's got a wife and a daughter, and they're in hiding, and so it kind of like. I think I kind of helped him because to me he's the most honorable character we have in the game, and. Yes, he kills lots of people, but he's got like a different code of honor that he always sticks to.
Right.
He's like Vader.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically. Was his character involved with the Yakuza? Or,
yes.
Yeah.
He was part of the Yakuza, and then he found out that they had been infiltrated by one of the ministries of Legion.
Right.
And he kind of felt like that was a loss of honor. And so he decided to just clean house. So he killed every single person in his Yakuza family.
Yeah, and we'll see in a little bit. I have a really short clip from him doing just that. Probably one of my favorite intros just because the animation for that is...
Yeah.
Probably
it's straight up. I love it.
Oh,
yeah.
It's
probably some of the best animation Powerhouse did for us from all the cutscenes.
Yeah. And I love just seeing in the background like all the different ways he's killed people.
Yeah. that part is not in the clip, but yeah, you can replay the cutscenes from the arc in this game, so you might want to just like replay and just see all the ways he's killed people because
count the number of weapons.
Some of them are kind of messed up.
Be sure you look for the chopsticks.
Yeah. Now we got some early renders here of his silenced pistol.
So I've gotten some feedback in the past, like all he has is a silenced pistol, because all the other agents, they have, you know, special weapons and gadgets and these over the top technological things that are kind of make them a little bombastic. And then Oni shows up with kind of an ornamental mask and claw and a silenced pistol.
Yeah, but it's the gun from Halo.
It's not quite as broken as gun. Well, the idea being, which I think the cutscene, unfortunately, we're not going to watch all of it. The cutscene reinforces the fact that Oni is the weapon. It's nothing he's carrying. He is this unstoppable force, and he doesn't need to flex his muscles or be explosive or just larger, more intimidating than he is, because it just seeps off of him so naturally, and he has a reputation for that makes everyone fear him. And so I always loved the silenced pistol, and there were talks of amping it up or getting rid of it, and I always voted for it, and I'm glad it stuck. Plus, I also like pistols in games. I like the way they feel and handle.
And yeah, the another shot of it. Yeah, like we'll see later with how he works. I feel like shooting people with his pistol is more like a means to an end, because like all the things that happen after you shoot people are like the real thing with him. Which took me a little bit to wrap my head around, but once I did, it's like, oh, he's actually extremely useful.
He's Japanese John Wick.
You know what?
Exactly what he was.
Yeah.
That was the description given to me for the design.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I sat you down and I was like, we're watching John Wick today.
Yeah, the servers went down one day and we couldn't open any tools or submit anything, so we moved a couch into one of the meeting rooms and made popcorn and watched John Wick.
Oh, man.
Because it was like right when we kicked off developing Oni.
I know, and I was like, you see that where he stabs the guy under the chin, just stares at his eyes as he dies, and then you had to explain how we couldn't do that. That's what I want.
Oh man, yeah. Speaking of that, we have a couple bits of concept art from Powerhouse when they were working on the Oni cutscene. Some random Yakuza dudes who all have chopsticks somewhere in their face or elsewhere, I think.
Cannon fodder.
And we won't see in the clip, but the Yakuza boss that he is going after. I'm really glad that he has like a really big like tattoo, like all the big Yakuza dudes do. Like it's colored in and everything. Like, right. This is the lady he'll be fighting in the clip we'll play here. So actually, let's take a look at that.
Awesome. Too bad she's gonna die.
Yeah, it's that's just a small bit of the fight in his intro, and it's rad.
I think it's my favorite intro.
That's hard for me to choose, because there's a lot of them.
There's some really good ones
that are really good, but like that one, at least animation wise, visually, is my favorite one, just because, man, especially when she's swinging. Does anybody know what the name of that weapon is?
Kama.
I always forget. A what?
Kama.
Oh, a Kama? Okay. I used to know that, but it's just, yeah, the seeing her swing that like so fluidly, it's like, oh man, it's awesome. Did you have to do like a bunch of research into all those weapons or anything for?
I may have already known everything there was
Oh man,
about those.
do you own one?
Yes.
For real?
Yes.
Oh man.
All right.
They're wooden ones.
Okay.
Okay.
They're like training ones or something.
Because I used metal ones. I was like, I like these a little too much. And I watched a video of someone I know slice open his leg.
Oh no!
Oh God!
Oh, why is that a video?
That wasn't what the video was for.
Okay.
It just happened in the video
Okay.
of like all of a sudden he just collapses, and I'm like, oh.
Oh man!
That's why you need to be safe, and why I don't own real ones.
Oh God! Well, that's rad though. Then we got two bits of key art for Oni here. Some of his cool poses. I'm a big fan of that one. Pretty close to what his pose is in game when you're like combat ready. But yeah, that's some early production stuff of Oni. Now I know that thing's called a comma. You learn something every day.
The more you know.
If only I had like an extra button just to do the
Mayhem nose.
Yeah, Mayhem nose.
It's an effect across the screen.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
If we had different streaming equipment, I could literally make that a transition. But alas, perhaps later. But with that, let's talk to Matt a little bit about his work on Oni here.
Fun.
Ooh. Hey, you're up on screen now.
Whee! I'm up on screen.
So, working on Oni, how did you learn about the role?
My agents told me about it. I had not heard about it before that. And then what you get is a little piece of concept art. And I looked at that piece of concept art and looked at the way you guys described it and came up with a character.
All right. Was that piece of concept art like basically what he looks like now, or was it
that you guys had just showed? It was like, oh, right, I remember when he looked like that.
Okay. Yeah, I was interested if. Do you guys know if like some of the concept art that was shown for the role were like earlier versions of characters, or were they all basically?
Yeah, some of them were earlier. I think
I can't remember. One of the
was
descriptions
early.
was like, you wanted like Toshiro Mifune combined with, like there was a bunch of different things, and it was like, oh, okay, let's figure out how to do that, because it's really when you're distilling somebody who's the strong and silent type, it's like, but my whole character revolves around me talking.
So when voicing him, were you able to like find a voice for him pretty quick, or did you go through a couple different types before you landed on something?
Here's the thing: both the Chinese accent and the Japanese accent, and even the Korean accent, which if you're doing, basically just sounds like you're out of breath. All Korean accents sound like you're having an asthma attack. But the Chinese and Japanese accent, if you're breaking it into English, you're always going to run into problems when you're doing that accent in game, where you really can't understand certain words. And so what I've found, especially when you're dealing with a character who has to be quick and taciturn and understood. I was the voice of the Pandar NPC for Warcraft. Okay. And so doing that character made me go, oh wow, okay, so they're going to be words that an English speaking audience will just purely not get unless I put a certain spin on that voice. And so Oni is actually a Japanese accent if he was then trained by somebody from Oxford. So, rather than only having an American accent added onto it, which would be much wider and more about vowels, which would actually make it much more mushy in the mouth, an Oxford accent is precise and clipped and everything becomes very short. So then adding that to Oni, it really allowed me to be clear and specific with him in a way that could bring out his sort of inner shredder in a way.
Did anybody ask you to make it like Shredder, or was that something?
No. That was something because I had played Shredder before, and that was something where I was like, ooh, I get to do Shredder one word. Because Shredder, it's always like they cut away right when he's about to do something mean. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Oni's like, no. And he gets to, and he's fantastic, and he gets to kill people. So,
which version of Ninja Turtles did you voice Shredder in?
Oh God, it was an animated one they did like 2 years ago. I don't know. I got to do both Splinter and Shredder, so it was awesome.
Okay, I think I know which one that is then, because it's been so many Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like it would be a competition. Which is more, Ninja Turtles or Pokemon?
Yeah. Maybe Pokemon by this point. I don't know. I'll get my phone out. So that we showed that little clip of that 2D cutscene of Oni's. How long into voicing Oni did you get to before you got to see that?
Oh, that was months and months and months and months and months of coming back. Okay. And that was like payoff. Because I would come back, because a lot of the times when you're voicing a game, you're doing your work in clear. Mm-hmm. And coming back and finally getting to see it all sort of work together, especially in the cutscenes where you get real context for the character and you see where he's coming from. Because I'm a father, and I had sort of, that was a thing that really, every character's got to have a heart. So that was the heart of the character for me, for Oni, was that this is all about protecting his family, protecting his daughter.
So was that the first thing of like Oni you had seen aside from that concept art? Had you seen him in game?
I had just seen concept art. I had seen some other stuff of other agents, but I had never seen Oni up until then.
Okay. Have you seen him in game at all yet?
A little bit, but not Oni doing it. Again, it was somebody else.
Oh, okay. So you've seen a little bit of the game, but not okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty cool. You'll see a little bit.
I finally got to see Oni's in game, and that was so awesome. Yeah, that was incredible. Because Oni reminds me, again, deep game callback, of Bionic Commando.
Yeah.
And so I just love the aspects that he had, and I played the shit out of Bionic Commando, so I just love the fact that he had these callbacks to Bionic Commando.
So aside from, you do voice acting for games, and cartoons, do you do other stuff like aside from voice acting?
Yeah. I mean, I started off as just acting on screen, and then I did an episode of Family Guy, and then Chris Zimmerman, who's a huge casting director, who'd done all sorts of stuff, found me, and she went, "Do you have an agent?" And I went, "No." And she said, "Well, here's an agent." And so she got me an agent, and then very quickly after that, everything just sort of lined up, and I started doing a bunch of things. Before that, I had done. I was the original voice of Illidan on Warcraft.
Right.
And so that was before myself or Blizzard went union. So it was this thing, and they had asked me to come back and do Illidan for World of Warcraft, but they still hadn't gone union at that point, and I had. And so one of my greatest regrets in life is not being able to continue my work as doing Illidan for World of Warcraft.
So how long have you been doing acting stuff for then?
For Blizzard?
Oh no, I just mean your career.
My career, I was on I graduated in '96. I got my first real gig in '98. Was on Broadway, and then I went on tour with that gig for 2 years, and then I got to LA and started doing Friends and Frasier and West Wing and all sorts of fun.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was fun. It was really, really fun. I mean, it's been. I haven't had to do anything but be an actor for 20-some years. So fingers crossed. Let's keep on hoping that happens.
So have you done any other roles that were like Oni before, or is this first time getting a character like this?
Splinter and Shredder, I think, are probably the closest.
Okay.
In terms of the sort of honor Japanese thing. But I mean, Oni's got a little bit of insanity to him, and there's a couple of those where they were close.
Any specific lines that you really liked of Oni's?
Of Oni's?
Yeah.
Oh God, what was it? He has this. It's too long to go into the full plot line, but the end of it is Oni, in very serious, coming and saying, "I prefer Mr. Fuzzlewas." I mean, how could you not love that?
It's a good one.
Oh man, I don't know if I've heard that. Have I heard that?
It's in one of the cutscenes.
Yeah.
Okay, I must have heard it. It's just been so long since I played like certain parts of the game. I probably just haven't heard it in a while.
And I love that you went in and did your work on Japanese film and Korean film and stuff like that, because so often these guys are taciturn and don't really say anything, and it's really great to sort of come in and then almost lampoon the genre, because you get to be you get to still be that character, but maybe he does say something like that, and it's a little bit silly, and you always wonder, you know, like, could we get Jet Li to say that? Would it
Yeah.
My impression, I really like Oni. He's one of my favorite agents, one of my favorite I've worked on. My impression is kind of like we're seeing him after his big like revenge arc, like after he went like super dark and brutal and murdered everyone, and so like when that ends, where does he go from there? And like maybe a little bit of silliness comes out, maybe a little bit of character comes out a little bit more.
Yeah, I kind of feel like some of his coworkers might bring out the humorous side to him, but at the same time, it's like he might switch back to that dark timeline again, like Persephone.
Just how absurdly how confused he is by his coworkers.
Yeah, and it's like Persephone's taken a very big risk with hiring him because he killed his last boss. If she does something that he thinks it dishonors him or Mayhem, he might clean house again.
Yeah.
I just remembered another bit of dialogue with him. I believe it's Oni. Oni does have conversations with Yeti's jokes, right?
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't get them 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So sort of, you know, like a Vulcan asking for clarification.
Oh man. Oh, we actually got a. I'll bring that up in a little bit. Larry Gates is asking us something too. So how long were you voicing Oni for? Were you one of the voice actors that was on like really early on with our game?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was doing, every time I thought the game was over and you guys had all of the stuff that you need, they'd be like, no, you're coming in. And I'd be like, wait a second. So, I mean, it was... well, it's testament to how much work goes into a game.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, when you look at, like, television, you're talking about a few thousand, maybe actually a few hundred lines of dialogue. When you're talking about a film, maybe a few thousand if you're lucky. And when you talk about games, sometimes you're talking about tens of thousands of lines of dialogue, and that's immense. I mean, that's just an immense lift. Yeah. So so you go through the process and you look at it, and it's remarkable.
Oh, something I've been meaning to ask like every voice actor we've had on, I've always forgotten, is so specifically for games too, like on top of all the lines of dialogue, there just has to be a lot of grunts for combat stuff. Do you just do all that? Is there just like one day where it's just like, this is the grunting, shouting, I'm getting hurt day?
I wish. No, I mean, that's one of the things is that we get hammered sometimes, and you know, it's hard to say. You know, we get to do a luxury profession. At the end of the day, we get to do a luxury profession. But you know, there are certain things where it is immensely damaging. I mean, I did Call of Duty, and you're doing 4 hours of screaming in a room, you know, and you know, I've known people to rip out their cords and then they don't have a career anymore. So they were remarkable about making sure that I was protected, that my voice was protected, that we were able to come back the next day and still do the work. So but it can get a little strenuous, but at the end of the day, I'm having fun, you know?
Right.
And hopefully that transmits to somebody playing the game.
Yeah. How much direction is there for when you do just have to do the things that are just combat grunts, like, oh, here's just a bit we need for like when he gets hurt a little bit and like a lot, like, is it just like ouch, or like how much direction can you give them like
where
that?
you don't know what it is, right? You don't know, because they know what the cutscene looks like, but you're always working with absolutely the most limited bit of information. So they know that this is just the sound of him landing really softly, right? And that's what we need. So we need it to be like, all right, okay, cool. And they're like, no, that sounds too much. Try a little less. So I'm like, no, that's too soft. It becomes this like niggling thing to try and get the exact sound. But you know, then you have other ones where you're working in working on a cutscene, he's got to lift something and move it out of the way, and it's like, okay, so he's got to take this thing and go, right? And then the fun thing for me is being able to do that sound, but you have to do it with an accent. Sounds different, you know, and it's funny, you know, you realize that our exertions also have accents on them.
Never really thought of that one before, huh? Do you guys have any questions?
Oh wait, hang on. We the manlitz SNV wants me the next sound to be throwing out my back. Okay, Oni throwing out his back. There you go.
Man,
Yeah.
That's a good one. Man, I just want to imagine like having a gameplay mechanic where your character can throw out their back now. It's I mean, there only one game has ever done that. I think that was Metal Gear Solid 4 because he plays a 3,000-year-old man in that game. But
he coughs, or was it? He coughs and grunts and he gets tired. I think that's what happens. If you fight for too long.
Yeah. He just like kind of like rubs his back a little bit because it hurts. But I'm imagining just like, you know, like furniture lifting simulator where you know
downtime at the Ark,
lift with your knees a bit too much.
One where I kept on doing the exertion noises, and I pushed it too far that day, and it forced my diaphragm up, so I got the hiccups.
Oh, geez.
And in order to actually, what makes you, like, why you have to scare people when you have the hiccups or blowing a paper bag is what you're trying to do is forget that you have the hiccups. Because if you're aware of your diaphragm, that's when it pulses. That's why you get hiccups. So actually scaring people is to make them forget that they have hiccups. So when you're in a voice session and you realize you have hiccups and you need to stop that, it's impossible to stop thinking about the fact that you have hiccups. So it was hilarious because I'm just doing all of these gigantic Oni Japanese exertions and I'm hiccuping midway through it, which is not intimidating at all. Yeah.
Oh man, I never really thought of the idea that like hiccups ruining a VO session, but has anybody actually just tried to like jump scare you to get them out of you or something?
That'd be good, but no.
Oh man, just imagining like VO booths just having a big red button for like anti-hiccups that just like just scaring the shit out of anybody who's in the
clown on a spring.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's about a little bit after 4:30 now, so we should probably get to playing some Oni and seeing how he works, so that we can also have a little bit of time at the end to take a look at a couple of bugs, of course.
Oh, we always need time for the bugs.
We got a couple bugs at the end.
No, seriously, we always need time to fix bugs. There's a lot of bugs.
Yeah. But Matt, thanks for answering those questions. Hope you enjoy seeing Oni run around and shoot people in the face.
I'm excited.
All right, thanks, man. All right, so Oni.
So Oni was some of the smoothest work design-wise.
Really?
I did, yeah. Like, we talked about Kingpin last week and Daisy a few weeks ago, and we had to, like, overhaul and redo how they played, like, a couple times each. Oni went through, like, half an iteration, and then we're like, cool, we got it. And he was the first one we did, so he was often just, like, kind of forgotten, because we had him relatively locked down, and then we then, of course, polished everything, and minor iterations did occur, but we knew what we wanted. The direction, we found the direction pretty early. We had a really successful kickoff where we had a representative from every team, pretty much everyone who's ever going to work on him, sit down in a room and talk about him. Like, not just like, okay, like audio, what kind of audio things can you do for him? It's like, no, let's just talk about Oni and what we like about him, what stands out. And like the cohesion that formed really kind of just solidified how he played and how his presence in the game. I also watched the club scene from John Wick like 20 times one day trying to figure out how I wanted to approach him in combat. And the two things I really wanted to hit on was his brutality, because he's brutal. He's not an overtop way. Like, he's not gonna like rip a person in half, but he's gonna kill you. Like,
right.
And he's very efficient. I wanted to really make him feel efficient. And kind of the general approach with that was I wanted a kind of a subtlety to his kit, to his moves that isolated kind of almost seem underwhelming, but then when you use them together very well,
right,
then like you gain momentum and you can just murder everyone, and you're just popping off headshots and killing everyone. And so as part of the efficiency, early on we knew we wanted to do things with critical hits. Actually, the first place we went to, the one thing we iterated away from, was we wanted him to get stronger the less he moved. Because like he's not afraid, he doesn't need to run for cover, he'll just walk down the battlefield and start shooting people. But our game was about movement, so that directly conflicted with you know, the core pillar of our game, so we moved away from that. But we also knew we wanted to do things with crits, because he's the kind of guy who, you know, counts the people in a room, turns a corner, and just headshots every single one.
Right.
So we wanted to highlight the player getting headshots and the efficiency of getting that bonus damage from when you line up the shot.
Yeah, it will actually spawn. Well, here actually to better show this, I suppose I will turn enemy AI off. I'll just spawn one dude to show like how this works. So
Oni has a presence, like in my headcanon, like. He just shows up on the battlefield and Legion get a little afraid. They're like, oh shit, it's Oni. And then the rookie goes like, oh, why are we afraid of that guy? He's just a dude with a mask. And like he's kind of got this myth behind him, kind of like this mythological, like the mythological demon that he wears on his face, like the mascot portion. That's kind of how he's seen. To get that kind of presence and the intimidation factor and to kind of build into the momentum and efficiency thing, he gets this aura, which as it grows,
here,
you can see on the ground, as it grows, enemies inside it take more damage and deal less damage because they're scared, they're shaken.
Yeah.
And the way you grow the aura is by getting headshots. And so like in my little scenario 4, the rookie immediately sees the guy next to him get shot in the head, and he's gonna be a little weaker. And it grows over time, and then we want some play with it. So if you're not getting headshots, we want it to reduce it. One of the other things we knew about Oni early on is he's one of our higher skill cap characters, meaning to play him well is a little more difficult. But if you're playing him well, he's going to be really, really good. We don't normally expect players to get critical strikes. It's kind of a bonus. Because it takes it's a usability thing. It takes a little bit extra finesse to line up a headshot, especially at range, that as a general rule in our game, we didn't want to expect players to do that. But Oni's the exception because we wanted that higher skill cap. So we reward you for taking the time and lining up shots. We really reward you if you can do it like while running. And being in the midst of battle and just unloading every shot as a headshot. So once the aura's out, like you're at maximum efficiency, you can just murder everyone. And then to play with all of that synergy going on, or to play into the synergy, his special is an auto crit at range, and it deals bonus damage and automatically crits, which grows his aura. But to give a little decision space to make you think a little more about how you're using the ability, if it kills the target, it resets the cooldown. So if you're watching the enemy's health, you can just like shoot them twice and then hit the special to finish them off, and then it'll be back up and you can move on to the next guy, and that plays into the momentum of murdering everyone in front of you, right? But then if you don't kill them, it does a really strong debuff to a single target. The one we have equipped now will panic an enemy. So you have a cool decision to make do I use the special early to as a strategic thing to make someone effectively, run away, to take them out of the fight, or to give me time to line up headshots because they're not attacking me? Or do I save it? That was awesome. Let's just take a moment. And thank you, Car.
That was really good. Actually power slid into that dude.
Or do you try to save the special to maximize your damage? And so there's this really cool play there where like you can mow down a group of hell troopers by last shotting them with his special. And then when a shock trooper shows up, you just immediately use it to make him run away and finish murdering everyone else and come back to him. The last little bit in his kit is if he stares at someone long enough, they slow down. Flavor-wise, he is intimidating them because he's giving them this dead 1,000-yard brutal assassin stare. Gameplay-wise, it allows him to line up a headshot for someone that's repositioning or charging him, and then getting the headshot will then, of course, increase his aura. So everything really, I wanted everything to really flow together in semi-subtle ways, and then you realize his power once you've been able to execute on his play style. Yeah. And then his Mayhem ability. Really just makes him a terror, literally, because everyone around him is panicked, and you just go to town. You just clean up. You just start mopping up and finishing all the enemies as they run around scared. You can upgrade the Mayhem. One of my favorite upgrades in the game really is you can upgrade the Mayhem to extend the panic as you kill panicked people. So you're just playing into this moment and extending it.
Yeah, which also just to clarify, the Oni I am playing as right now is like a completely maxed out one. Every upgrade, all levels and super agent levels. Man, Lee does not have a good day in this road here.
To be clear, the cars are not part of his gameplay. He is not that overpowered. You can just call it a car.
Yeah, as you can see, like, my range, because I've headshot so many dudes, my range is like...
Yeah.
Right here is when they get affected.
Yeah, it's pretty much in your ideal engagement range at that point. Yeah. So just about everyone you're fighting will be weaker and take more damage.
It keeps happening!
Great.
3 times now.
Man!
Soul doesn't need its defenders. The people to take the defense of the city.
You just have to scare the drivers
into their own hands.
That they get reckless, yeah. Oh man, that's incredible. And of course, I've been using it, but we haven't really talked about it. But he's also one of the agents that, rather than the dodge, he has the
stealth ability.
Yeah, stealth ability, which also helps out a lot.
Yeah, it's super useful to actually line up a headshot to kind of get the aura growing. Because the aura retracts really slowly, so once you get it going, it's kind of easy to maintain. You'll get headshots or use the special enough, but it's the first initial ones that can be difficult.
Speaking of like his aura, expanding and contracting, we should talk about his gadgets here. Yeah. Some of those affect those as well.
Yes. These, I think you're into special gadgets right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Special gadgets are pretty consistent. They just have a different debuff. One panics, so it makes them run away. Another one immobilizes them, which stops them in their tracks, so you can get more headshots off on them. And then the third one makes them vulnerable, so you can just you can burn down a target if you lead with it.
Yeah.
But it functions very similarly across all of them. So there are mods or gadgets and mods to play into his momentum and his efficiency, and one of his limiting factors is his smaller ammo count for his pistol. He just has a pistol. That's all he needs, but he just has a pistol. It's a 7-clip or magazine. We have an artist will get mad at you if you call it a clip, because the clip is an open air one that you feed into something, whereas a magazine. Anyway, I had that lecture at like a meeting. Thanks, Flagel. Joke's on him. I purposefully call magazines clips now. Just to throw his bit. But yeah, this is a nice little. This will help keep the momentum going a little longer because it gives you more shots per round, per magazine. And
also we have Legion Tech up here too, which is what is affecting his aura size here.
Yeah, and this we wanted to build. If you're having trouble like hitting that maximum momentum, we wanted to give you little options to help to get you like halfway there to start you in that direction. So this Legion Tech gives him a minimum aura size. Normally it's 0. That one will I think a 1 meter radius. So you always have something to start the battle with because it does increase your defense capabilities and your melee capabilities even at its smallest radius. This one gives his melee attacks critical damage. A nice little thing to highlight his claw. Also, the aura is very, very satisfying when you use it with melee, because the thing is, the enemy is weakened. If you're going to melee a target, as long as you have at least the aura out a little bit, you'll always get the bonus. So melee always feels really good. This allows you to crit, which would then increase the aura when you're already going for something that fits into his flow. Is this equipped or are these all weapon gadgets? Yeah.
Yeah, these are all.
This is a trade-off for a player who feels more confident with their accuracy and their crits. You can get more damage in a clip at a slower rate of fire. So if you're just popping off headshots and almost one-shotting anyone and cycling between his special to finish people off, you can maximize your efficiency without really slowing down your damage output.
Right. Speaking of all this stuff, all the agents have a couple builds you can kind of put them towards, depending on the combination of stuff. What are the types of builds he has?
Well, one of them was the efficiency of just, giving you more means to get to maximize your damage, giving you options to play into abilities. And then the other one was his aura. We wanted to do a lot with his aura, helping you grow it, I think there's a Legion Tech that makes it reduce slower. So once you have it, you can keep it and you can get to it sooner. And then there's kind of, we always have 2.5 builds, and the half is kind of just things that fit in cool places that feel good, that don't really have a synergy or a direction. Okay. And I think you have one here with the Legion Tech. Everyone has a favorite enemies, and this one disrupts Blitz Troopers that are near him, which is really good because it stops them from attacking you except for melee. So it leaves them defenseless.
Alright, what does this one actually do on top of the Legion Tech? Just gives them a
so that will inflict blind on an enemy on top of whatever status effect his special normally inflicts. I believe this is balanced so the blind lasts a lot longer.
Okay.
So if you're using the ability defensively instead of to maximize your damage as the last hit, it will increase your defense, particularly against things like hell troopers that are really far off or like a snipe trooper or something.
Right.
So one of his passive that slows down enemies when he stares at them is called Intimidating Stare, and this just makes it happen a lot quicker. So if you like the effects of that, you can just kind of give the ability a little boost.
So
it complements your play style.
Just for clarification, is his stare just something that always eventually kicks in if an enemy's just in the crosshairs, or is it only if you're doing a fine aim thing?
So we have a little bit of auto targeting. And if you are targeting the enemy, so if that's who you're going to be shooting at, fine aim or out of fine aim, it'll kick in. We had it for fine aim a little bit, but again, a game about movement, forcing you to move less, unless done with care, can kind of disrupt things. If you go back, actually, the Legion Tech there is really awesome. The Intimidating Stare also disrupts the enemy, so they just become ineffective. Just because you're freaking them out so much.
You just look at an enemy for a little bit and they just
they can't shoot, they can't use abilities, they can still melee. But disrupting is a soft stun, really.
Right.
It's one of our underrated debuffs.
I eventually, like, within the past, like, 2 months, realized how useful disrupt is. And I was like, oh, why didn't I use this earlier? And the final one here.
Yeah, this is one of the ones I was talking about. It delays it shrinking, his aura shrinking back down, so it's easier to maintain.
Right.
And then to give you a little boost to get to the aura faster, the Legion tech you have equipped expands the aura when your shield breaks. So you're in a rough spot, you need a little help out, the aura will expand because your shield broke, probably because there's enemies nearby and they'll become enfeebled and deal less damage.
Yeah, with his core upgrades here, things that even further upgrade his intimidating stare.
So precision is a buff we don't use too often, but it's really powerful for certain agents because it extends how your effective range. And so this, if you stare down an enemy, you've kind of lined up a shot, and it'll let you shoot enemies that are further away.
Right.
And letting you get more crits because you're taking the time and you can increase your range and shoot from further. Yeah, it all kind of plays together.
Yeah.
This one's really cool because it plays into the efficiency. If the more efficient you play, the more damage you can deal. This will reload his weapon. Again, one of his weaknesses is his small magazine size. When you go into stealth, you have your magazine backed, and so you have a cool decision space because you can use your stealth defensively to get out of a situation and reposition. That's how it's supposed to be used. But here you can actually use it in kind of a rotation for like after you used your 6th shot, just tap it and immediately break the stealth by firing again. So you can get tricky, and there's kind of that decision space, and to complicate which direction you go in. And then this was the one I was talking about earlier. It's his Mayhem. If you kill panicked enemies while his Mayhem is active, it lasts longer. You just kind of feed into their fear.
I had multiple good takes when I was doing the video for this one, but I like this one because the scared guys got really close to the camera.
Yeah, that was a good one.
We've actually got some requests for things also with him. I guess once it might be a little bit harder to see, but we'll actually go through some of his skins so you can talk about his skins as well in a second here after we deal with this guy who also has his own aura of influence, although different.
He'll buff out other legions.
Do a Venn diagram.
It's cool. A car will come.
I know no weaknesses.
Yeah, but I'm betting a car's just going to come finish this off for me again.
I do want to give a quick shout out to our friend Devin Pham. He recently left the studio to go somewhere else. We miss him dearly, but he did fantastic work on Oni and took a lot of care to make sure there's that subtlety, but still that really efficient feel to all his animations. One of my favorites is his fall animation after a single jump. He does this nice little pistol line. I want to give a shout out because I know he worked really hard.
Yeah, that was actually a request from the chat to see his long fall animations. But yeah, I also want to point out his normal jump animations because they're really fun. Get up here.
I know we had a lot of discussions, him and I, of like, how do we make him feel badass, like the silent type through motion, if we don't want him to be like over the top and like, doing triple backflips while he
has that pistol spin when he jumps too.
I know we also had a little bit of John Woo moments as reference. There was actually animations, some exploration animations early on of where like he was like full on like diving through the air and like.
Yeah.
It's the one where doves just come out of nowhere.
I requested doves, and
Random
animation didn't like the sound of animating birds.
Well, we eventually got doves.
Yeah.
Different
Did
agent.
we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dove Tech made it.
Johnny Gat. Speaking of Johnny Gat, Matt, you are friends with the voice actor of Johnny Gat, aren't you? DDK.
Yeah, DDK and I go way back. Danny and I go back. We did a show called The Tempest, Shakespeare's The Tempest, in what I think, 03, something like that. Maybe before. I think before he got lost.
Oh man.
Yeah, Danny and I, it was really funny. I remember he was having a hard time. He was having a hard time in Los Angeles. He had 2 kids at the time, and was really, he had just taken a year off to go, like, do a tech startup.
Oh.
Wow.
And was just really bummed out. But he'd come back to Los Angeles because he loves acting, you know, but it's a crazy, weird profession. And we were sitting down at lunch, and he goes, yeah, I have this audition next week, and I'm just prepping for it. And I went, what's it called? And he was like, I don't know, it's like Lost or something. And, you know, next thing I know, he's on every TV show in the entire world, and I'm looking at him on Gap ads. So I remember calling him up and going, you're on the side of my building! I love Danny. Danny is a great human being. He is a really, really, really good human being. My character is cooler, but Danny. He's a far cooler character, person in life than I am.
Did you know, like, just from him that he was, like, doing more work on this game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dan and I have worked on a bunch of things. Like, I was the voice of Tunnel Rat on G.I. Joe Renegades, and I brought Danny in to play my older brother on the show because I just thought I just love working with the guy.
I find you pleasing.
And also, yeah, before we run out of time here, we should take a look at some of his skins. There's specific. Oh, actually, we had a request first.
I find you pleasing.
I want to find the name again. Right, Manny Kong was asking. He wanted to see the skin where he's in the orange suit covered in the blood.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we'll switch to that here. Switch his gun skins around too here actually.
I'm awesome. My character is awesome.
Yeah, Oni has some really cool skins, especially the one we passed earlier with the glowing mask. So how much work did you do in all these skins?
Well, interestingly enough, I came in obviously when the character was mostly done, but there was some polish and there was some work I did on the default skin as well, which is just white, and everything else. Yeah, it's just texturing them. I mean, the biggest challenge with skins is like you get all these great ideas, but you can only change the textures, right?
Right.
So how do you deal with normal maps or different shaders? Like, what are the limitations? Where do you have to like make sacrifices and just say, well, I can't go any further because we can't add geo, right?
Right.
That's the point of a skin, and that's the fun of it too. I think it's a really fun experience.
Yeah. And also, I want to point this out. On his back.
His character code.
So that's his character code.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. His it's not a cell number or
Yeah, I completely forgot that was on his back here, but
I never knew that. That is wonderful. So every agent has a number that we use to identify their assets.
That's
That we start every file name with.
When I was doing like pretty much all the bank work for all the tutorials and stuff this game, I got incredibly familiar with which agent was which number for a while, because like for a while I had to bring up a spreadsheet and go like, fuck, which one's Fortune? I think Fortune's
A0002.
Two?
No,
Two. Rama's 3.
Rama's 3, that's right.
Rama.
We all know this.
Six is hardtack.
Actually, Rama had her character code, and she had already been started before they changed.
Yes.
So she had the ideal.
So she's IF001.
Yep.
Is Rama.
Oh, okay.
She has IM.
Hollywood is IM005.
So is Red Card. Red Card's IM as well.
No, Red Card is.
He's half IM, half AO. So he has a weird.
4.
He has 4. Yeah, A004.
Yeah,
but on some files it's still like it's still the I.
Scheherazade is AF002.
Yep.
Yeah. And like there's still some file names for like Hollywood that have movie star. Because that was his that was his code name back when we did the first round, being Hollywood.
I did like the vast majority of like implementation of like
codes
of like dialogue into the game so the designers can set it up. So I have all of the character codes burned into my brain.
I thought they would be burned in my head too, but they're slowly like falling out.
Yeah.
I think 33 or 34 is Yeti. I forget which one.
33.
33 is Yeti.
34
Yeah.
is Gat.
34 is, that's right. Yeah, that's why 34 seems so familiar.
Why does Oni have so much blood on his ass?
Because he sat on someone. I don't know. He sits on his fallen victims.
I'm guessing that he was really tired after he killed a lot of people, and he just sat on the pile.
He needed a break.
Yeah, it took
It's
a
one of
break.
those moments where he's like, "Oh, that was really exhausting." Oh, who left the decapitated head?
He's really close. If he just had a red suit instead of an orange suit, this wouldn't be nearly as much of a problem. I mean, if he just keeps sitting on severed heads for a while, it'll be red, so...
Note to self. Leave severed heads on.
There must be a tailor in Seoul that is funded purely by Oni. Just a new suit after every mission.
You get a good look at his kids when they do their ultimates too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it's actually...
Their mayhem abilities.
I was here.
Do that thing where he claws onto the side of a building.
That's super fun.
Oh yeah, his let's see, do we have a service here I can do that with?
The side of the...
the Joker skin.
Yeah, his wall climb animation is really good. Oops.
Why so serious?
Yeah, the claw, like I said, came in a lot later, so we didn't have much gameplay around it, if any. But animation did a good job of incorporating it into a couple of his kit.
Yeah.
Like the wall climb, his melee is his melee. We show this off in a trailer. His melee back into combat stance feels really good.
Yep, I'm the one that captured that.
He spins out.
There's a shot where he's in stealth, shoots a snipe trooper dead, and I used this as like his coming out of stealth animation in that trailer. I think that was the first trailer we put out, maybe, but yeah.
You guys have got to do a Japanese version of Bane for him.
Wow.
Because he's got the mask already.
It's true.
Like,
Nobody cares.
We'll put a filter on all his lines. That would be great.
I am Oni.
great.
If we could somehow, take the massive amount of time to get every single voice actor to also change all their lines to just like, what? Huh? This guy's the worst to work with. I can't understand him.
What did he say? What did he say?
Yeah, I like this one a lot too, just because the glowing mask is pretty rad. Man, what's the story for this one? If we
that's awesome. That's my favorite.
He's changing the oil on a car.
Right.
He fell into an oil slick.
He was rescuing seabirds.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Seagulls.
Mm-hmm. Otters.
Yeah.
Giving an otter a bath in dial soap.
It's environmental hero, Oni.
He is.
Do you have like a dark hallway you can walk down while he's in that skin?
Oh, well, it's glowing.
Um,
Set it to nighttime.
I could set it to nighttime.
Oh yeah, set it to nighttime.
Yeah, we'll just set it to nighttime here and
Isn't it nice being a god in the game?
that slider I just used was like part of a menu built specifically like at my request and also our former video editor's request, because it's like we need some more capture tools. Mm-hmm. And if I could just have a slider to move the sun around,
Find the right time it is.
excuse me, the earth. I'll also have you know the earth is flat, and we're surrounded by ice that goes forever. Thanks for watching the stream.
We're done. It's over.
Let's see. Oh, we might actually have like a cool dark place we can go over here. So we can perhaps just have only his mask glowing. Not sure exactly how dark it'll get there. Can't remember if there's a ton of lighting there.
Unfortunately for this moment, one of our goals is to make sure you can see what you're doing
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah. if I went into the console and then adjusted exposure settings for like 10 minutes, I could find something where, yeah, that's the only thing you'd be able to see. But there's a couple areas that get a little dark at night, but...
Well, it's Seoul, so I mean, Seoul is crazy well lit.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
That already does look pretty good, though, yeah.
I tracked down those recordings you needed, but I gotta say, they're kind of freaky.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
The opening his eyes part.
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, that'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Do we have anything else we haven't talked about Oni yet that we still want to show off?
He's the best character in the game.
Yeah. All right, we got that covered now.
We can't really show it, but his personal mission is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to know, the game comes out in 5 days. In the US, at least. What, 8 days everywhere else?
It's 3 days after.
3 days after the release,
Yes.
so yeah. Yeah.
We tried to do a nice nod to Die Hard and what's kind of like the Judge Dredd, and what was that other martial arts movie that like that? Where they raid the raid?
The Raid.
The Raid? Literally
Yeah,
the
there
Raid.
you go.
Yeah,
I got there. Don't worry about it. I got there.
They raid a place.
They raid a place. But it's like a very pronounced raid. It's like the raid.
It's the only raid.
That movie has the best. I will say that the Raid has the best boss fight. I'm not a huge fan of the Raid, but it does have the best boss fight because it's you usually don't have like 2 good guys against 1 bad guy, and the bad guy still is just winning for the majority of the fight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we tried to capture a little bit of that. I think it's a pretty cool moment.
That's awesome. Look at that.
Yeah. I just remember that these gave off light as well, so that looks pretty rad.
Dang.
But yeah, that's Oni. He's got a lot of cool stuff to him. Also has some really cool skins as well. I guess since it's a little after 5, we should wrap this up with a couple bugs.
Yeah.
So we will.
What was Larry's question?
Oh no, Larry was just making sure that I mentioned that he was friends with DK. Yeah. Well, I will double check actually if we have any more requests before we move
I don't
on
have
to the
a
game.
cool Queen trailer. I want a trailer with Queen. How come Danny gets get out?
How would that go? How would it go with Oni?
Come on now.
What song would we use?
I want to do. Okay, I request. I want to Break Free by Queen. 'Cause it's, frankly, a better song. There's no offense to Flash Gordon, but it's not a great movie.
It's not.
And I Want to Break Free is Freddie Mercury in drag, so I mean, why not? And it's a better song, and then you could have me breaking people.
Free.
Ah.
Thinking ahead, trying to.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Yeah, people
Oh,
already
no.
reacting to the bugs. I'm getting ready to pull up here.
The horror.
Oh, just you.
I mean, zooming in isn't a great idea with this picture, but we'll bring this up in a
it
second.
zooms into you.
Yeah. I didn't actually move the mouse wheel at all. It's just,
Diddy Nuts
look
wants
at
to
it.
know if I like Flesh Gordon better. I've never seen it. I'm sorry.
Man. All right, let's switch back over here.
It'll be now.
Not really, I suppose, a bug happening in the game because this is happening in one of our tools. But yeah, this is Steel Tone Aisha villains later in the game.
Yeah, they have this is during, I think, their wedding.
Yes, this is during their wedding.
Is there wedding picture?
This is their wedding picture.
Dress. That's what it's
That's his face he makes after somebody just objects.
Yeah.
Like,
what did you say?
What?
nobody ever actually does that though. There were this scene that's happening right here was a scene we had in our game earlier on because we used it kind of like for our first demo for E3 2 years ago, I believe.
Not this last E3, the E3 before.
Yeah, that was when we were making like a little vertical slice of gameplay that we could show to kind of show what the game was like to press and stuff. And because that had to be whenever you're making a demo, it's a lot more hacked together than a final game will be, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
So I remember there were times when that was being made where, something awry would happen during this cutscene. I never saw this specifically happen. Usually I saw, like, Aisha turn inside out or something, you know, but...
Or, like, their outside mesh doesn't load.
Yeah.
So it's just their eyeballs and teeth.
Just their eyeballs and teeth and stuff, yeah. I wonder if anybody has...
at each other, stuff like that.
Oh, man.
And she's like, were you looking at that girl? Oh, what do you know?
Put your face back in your head. Put that away.
Put your face back in your head.
And then we have a couple other video bugs here that I believe Oni's in one of them, but these are just general bugs. This is a pretty rad one that I've seen happen a couple times earlier on, which was,
a car just clips into another car.
Yeah.
And then,
You won't let go.
I like that the car violently vibrates when you get out.
I'll take what happens when you hit a Chevy Volt for 400 hours.
I never got this exact thing to happen, but those little cars, especially earlier on, would sometimes spawn halfway in the ground, so they'd just be vibrating down the road and stuff. Yeah.
The engine tries to bump them out, and they're stuck in the ground.
Oh god, no!
Yeah. I'll replay that one because it comes by quick. Because your eye is drawn to that giant space laser, but
Oh, that's unfortunate.
There is a person in there. I mean, not anymore. They came out in one piece, so good for them. It's like when people get sucked up into a jet turbine sometimes. They're fine at the end. It's just terrifying.
You've seen that?
Are they fine at the end?
Yeah, they're like the couple times I've seen this in random like TV show, because there's like Spike TV and it was like the 100 worst ways to die or whatever TV show they had, but it was like.
But you'd think that there'd be like some sort of psychological damage of being sucked.
No, yeah, I totally bet there is getting sucked in but it was one of those things that was on like a dead TV show when I was 6 and it scared me for like 3 years. It was a good thing I never went on a plane during that time because I thought I would just be dying at any point. But then with this last bug. So what's happening here is this is a golem spawn in the city, and he's just throwing stuff at the vehicle here. This QA tester knew what they were doing. They backed up into this.
Whoa! Sick jump.
What's rad though? Is like, look at that landing.
No, don't get off.
What I really like in this video too, we can't hear it too well because we have the audio down, so it doesn't echo. Is when the car starts flying to the air, the car AI just does that one voice clip where he sounds really uncomfortable. Like he doesn't... Yeah, uncomfortable laughter. Like, it's like, well, I just have to submit to what's happening here. Yeah, that's... Those are our bugs.
Awesome.
They're good bugs of the... What's messed up is that, with how many bugs you get just naturally in game development, like the good bugs is like 0.1% of them maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
Oh, boy. But hey, via these streams we have a compendium of the ones that were fun.
Yep. You don't have to... Be glad you don't have to filter through the thousands and thousands of... This dialogue, or this subtitle's wrong.
When you work on bugs, there's no... Like, when QA testers file bugs, there's no thing where you file it under fun. It's a bug. Man, just imagine if you went into Handsoft, though, and it was just like, low, medium, high, fun. Must fix, fun! You just see that, and it's just like, I'm leaving that there.
when we do see a good bug, there's a common joke of, that's not a bug, that's a feature.
That's a feature.
We're keeping that.
I mean, there was one we showed 2 streams ago, I believe, that is still in the game because it doesn't like harm anything, and it's just funny, and that's Peds near openings, elevator shaft openings for Legion layers would just walk right off and just fall to their doom.
It's raining people.
Yeah, some Peds will still do that, and it's funny. I mean, come on. But yeah.
So, does Oni have any Easter eggs?
Maybe. You'll have to look for them.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to go into too many. Yeah. I don't know about Oni specifically. I feel like a lot of the Easter eggs are like little nods that come up in like some of the random conversations that happen when you're running around. So there could be ones in there, but there are a lot of conversations. I mean, I haven't heard them all, and I like play the game like 8 hours a day or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know.
Ton of banter in the game.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
But yeah, that's Oni. It's super rad. That was the last agent of ours to show, at least of the base game. Eventually, we'll take a look at Johnny Gat, who at the moment is pre-order DLC. And yeah, so thanks for watching, everybody, for seeing the last stream covering the last of the base 12 agents in the game. We will have another stream next week where we will actually take a look at the playable missions for Johnny Gat. So another agent. There you go. But yeah, it's super close to the game coming out.
Yeah.
In America, it comes out on the 15th, which is next Tuesday. So what, 5 days from now? Less than 5 days now, technically. Yeah. So it comes out on the 15th in the U.S. and everywhere else in the world. It's the 18th, which I believe is next Friday.
Math checks out.
Yeah. But if you want to learn more about the other earlier agents, if you missed out on any of those streams, they are all up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/VolitionTube. All the streams we do go up on that channel about a week after we broadcast them live. And we have some other earlier streams too for AOM aside from the agent streams. We also had a really cool stream where everybody went over a big presentation about how they did the animation for the agents in our game, which is really fascinating, especially if you're into the game dev stuff. This video of our E3 demo and all that. And yeah, we stream weekly on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. And yeah, I guess we'll still be doing more AOM streams in the future for sure. Although it's, man, it's just weird to see that the game is actually coming out.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. If you're in Champaign, Illinois, next week is like AOM week for the city.
The mayor has announced it.
Yeah, you can come down and like go to a booth and play the game there if you want. There's also
just out on the street.
Yeah, there's also musical performances and stuff, I believe.
My favorite is a tent where children can do AOM coloring books.
Oh yeah,
which if you've seen some of our content, maybe.
Red everywhere.
Yeah. I need one crayon.
I want more blood on Oni.
Oh man. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. I'm Josh Stinson, the video editor and stream host here. And on the couch we had
Jordan Aljouni, combat designer.
Jenny Campbell, writing.
Pedro Yapor, character artist.
Matt King, Oni.
Yeah, thanks so much for being on, man, and answering our questions and all that
You're
stuff.
welcome.
It's always super cool having the voice actors on. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you next week where the game will already be out in America. So yeah.
Awesome. And check out, I got a big animated project releasing in a month, so keep your eyes out.
Can you say what it is?
I can't.
Okay.
I can't, but it's with Phil Lamar and an unnamed awesome guy. But it's Phil is the voice of Samurai Jack and a bunch of other things. So we're about to do something super duper cool. And then my show, The World of Steam, that I kickstarted in 2012, gonna bring it to television with the Jim Henson Company. So
cool!
Wow,
awesome. It's rad. All right,
check it out.
All right, everybody. We will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya. Bye.